Hey friends, it's Veronica, and today I'm here to talk to you about doing what you love. Now, when we talk about doing what you love, most of the time people think of this as, what am I going to do for a living? And I get this question all the time. I get people asking me, how do I find work I'm more passionate about? How do I get more passionate about my work? So I wanted to make this video to clarify some things because I think one of the biggest misunderstandings that people have about doing work you love is that it's somehow different from doing what you love, period, in life, just everyday life, right? So let's kind of dig into that and look at what does it mean to do what you love? I consider myself to be somebody that does what I love for a living. Do I love every part of it? No, I don't. I really don't. There's some parts that I have to do that I don't like doing. I have to put up with criticism and negative comments, and obviously I can tell myself stories about how these are really useful opportunities for me to build my compassion and my relationship with myself. At the end of the day, it sucks. I don't like it. And then there's also all the technology that I've had to learn. So I've had to learn how to do some coding, and I've learned how to do some things with websites and like building websites and troubleshooting. And I'm boring you just talking about it because these were just not things that I was interested in doing. But over time, I've embraced them a little bit more. But still, it's not like I absolutely love every single little part of it. However, the parts that I do love help balance out the parts that I don't. So that's really where you have to start. You have to realize that no matter what it is that you do, for a living, for a hobby, for a lifestyle, there are going to be parts that you don't enjoy, parts that you have to do, must do, okay? So why is it so hard to pursue doing something that you're more interested in, something that you're more passionate about, if it's going to come with its own, bag of darkness, put it like that. If it's going to come with those things, those tasks that maybe you don't want to perform. So here's the thing that I find really stands in people's way. If you are living somebody else's life, or if you're helping construct somebody else's dreams, or if you're helping a company find their own mission, if you're constantly doing things that you hate doing, there's this association in your mind right now where doing things drains you of energy. And look inside of you, see, is that correct? Is that right? Do I feel that way? When you go to work, maybe it drains you of energy. You don't like your job. Maybe there are some things going on in your lifestyle right now, maybe in your family, and maybe that drains you as well. So if that's the kind of lifestyle that you've been living, then there's really this association in your mind now. Every single time that I do something, it drains me. So in order to do something, I need energy. And that's where we find the most potential for doing work that you love, doing a life that you love, doing anything that you love, is in observing that assumption. Does everything really drain you? If you leave very early in the morning, you wake up early in the morning, you hate it. You sit in traffic, you hate it. You go to work, you hate it. Maybe you come home and then maybe people bother you, try to make you do stuff that you don't want to do. You do a bunch of errands you don't want to do, and then, you watch a TV show that you hate. You don't even like it that much. It's just familiar, and then you go to bed and you start it all over again. All of those things drain your energy. And obviously there's a certain amount of energy that you get from coffee. There's a certain amount of energy you get just by sleeping at night, right? You get a certain amount of energy from food. That's what calories are. They're energy. And so if you're going into your daily life, you're just expending that energy. However, things that you love do not drain you of energy. Maybe you haven't done these in so long that you have no idea what I'm talking about, but stick with me, okay? Remember maybe being a kid. Maybe you remember something that you love to do. Maybe it's dancing. Maybe it's writing. Maybe it's talking to people that you really identify with. Maybe it's making art. Maybe it's swimming. Maybe it's running. Whatever it is for you, being in nature. Okay, remember something that you love to do. Those things you can show up for exhausted, and they fill you, Okay, so there's this baseline. You start at a baseline. It doesn't matter if your baseline is down low or there's up high, whatever it is at the beginning of a day, right? The things that you don't like to do are going to drain your energy bit by bit, bit by bit, drain you. The things that you love to do are going to fill you up, okay? So that's where you end up in this big paradox, right? You end up in this life where you're always doing things that you hate, but you're waiting for the energy to do things you love. Are you doing this? Are you? Okay, because if you're doing this, then a lot of it is just overcoming that logical error. Why do you need energy to do the things that are going to give you energy? You don't. You need energy to do the things that are going to drain you of energy, right? If doing something fills you up, makes you feel more alive, more present, more inspired, right? Then you don't need energy to do those things. As soon as you start doing them, then slowly your energy levels go up. So making the time for those things, you get home from work, you say, I'm exhausted, I can't possibly do anything. If you're passionate about it, then you're going to have the energy from it, not for it, right? So when it comes to your passions, it's just a bit of a different kind of thinking. You need energy for the things that you don't want to do, but you gain energy from the things that you do like to do. And that's where it starts. So if you want to do work that you love, that's where it really begins. That's where it began for me. You know, I didn't start saying, how am I going to make money from this? That's an exhausting question. It just drains me already thinking about it. How do I make money from it? Right? What I did was I said, I'm going to spend more time doing the things that I want to do. I'm going to spend more time. I'm going to open a blog. I'm going to spend more time playing music. I'm going to explore my interests. And I did. You know, I started with this tiny little WordPress blog. I didn't go into it saying, what should my business plan be? And I didn't even know I wanted to have a business. You know, I didn't even really start thinking of that. I just needed to create a relationship between myself and my desires, to start saying yes to my desires, to start feeling what it feels like when I allow myself to have what I want. And at the end of the day, that's what it comes down to. That whole road of doing, you know, the journey towards maybe having a career that you love, maybe starting a business, doing things you love, but maybe also working for someone else, you know, maybe just doing literal work that you're more passionate about, moving on that way. It begins with you getting in touch with what it means to do something that you love, okay? If you're stuck at that part, if you're still stuck at every action that I take is going to drain me of energy, so I can't start this book, this poem, this whatever project that you're working on. If you're stuck there, focus on that. Okay, that's a good step to be at. If that's all that you do, if that's all that you address for now, right? That's doing something. That's taking a step. That's what you're doing. You're saying, I'm developing a relationship with the things that I love. I'm trying to experience what it feels like to love doing what I do, right? To respond to my desires in this positive way. And one of the side effects that's kind of come from this is that you're going to realize where there's room to revise your desires, okay? Because there are things that you might think right now you are passionate about, but passion is not a thought. Passion is a feeling. And every single time that your desires tell you, okay, let's do this, right? Let's do this, let's do that. And you say, yes, okay, you try it, you're going to get feedback. It doesn't matter if it's overwhelmingly positive feedback where you think, oh my gosh, this is the most amazing thing in the world. Or it's, you know, kind of lukewarm. Or you get feedback that says, wow, I don't actually really want to do that. All feedback is meaningful, right? And I know sometimes people talk about your intuition like it's this all-knowing part of you, like you know everything that you want, your intuition knows everything that you want, just look at that. And while those concepts are really romantic, I think they actually confuse people more than they help them. I mean, can you think of one single person in the entire world who knows everything, who has all the right answers to everything all the time, right? There's no such person. And so why would there be such a person inside of you? It just doesn't make sense. Why would there be this part inside of you that has all this wisdom that you're supposed to develop through experience? That's what wisdom is. You know, that's what intuition becomes when it's trained, when it's used, but you really have to use it. You have to allow your intuition to get out there, make some mistakes, like a kid learning to walk. You have to let your intuition out there so that it can see, okay, I thought I wanted this, but maybe I actually want this other thing. Maybe I have to pivot a little bit. Maybe I thought that I wanted to be a professional runner, but really I want to be a dancer. Maybe I thought I wanted to be a dancer, but I really want to be a theater performer. Maybe I thought I wanted to be a theater performer, but I actually really liked motivational speaking. Anything that you discover about yourself is so, so valuable. So those are really the two parts. And they're both of these parts. So responding to the things that you want to do and saying, okay, yes, I'm going to do it, and I'm going to believe that that's going to create energy for me. I'm not going to wait to have enough energy to do the things I'm passionate about, okay? And then taking the feedback, okay, what did that feel like? What did that feel like? Did that feel good? Did that feel bad? How did I actually react to that? Both of those things are accomplishing the same goal, really. It's getting you in touch with how you feel. Because that's what comes from, if you're here because you hate your job, something that happens to people who hate their jobs, unfortunately, is that they numb out. And you don't just numb out in the, office or factory or group home or wherever it is, or hospital or wherever it is that you work. You numb out everywhere. You numb out to your life, and then, nothing feels as good. Nothing feels as bad. You're really kind of out of touch with what kinds of feelings you're having. So how are you supposed to pursue doing what you love if you can't really feel like you love anything? So that's where the journey goes. You want to have a life you love, a career you love, everything. Start small. Just start doing the things that you love and getting some feedback on saying, is this something I actually love? Do I like this? Do I like doing this? And slowly, as that journey develops, at some point you might think, oh, I could really make money doing this, maybe. Here are some options for how I could make money doing that. But don't start there, okay? Don't start trying to figure out how to make money from it, because that will exhaust you. If you are exhausted, you do not need to do anything that exhausts you to get out of there, okay? Your road out of mental exhaustion, physical exhaustion is to give yourself some energy, give yourself some passion, okay? And everything else, you'll cross that bridge when you come to it, okay? I hope that's helpful. Good luck.